So I think the last time we talked about the 12500 Defiant, I was trying some various different lighting techniques, and what I've come down with now, and I think it's pretty much done, is the Nano or Pico SM LEDs, and they run all around here. Each light corresponds to a different effect: windows, nacelles, whatever. And then the strobes, 2 in the back, 2 in the front back, and then one here and here, and the corresponding on the dorsal, and then one here. So a total of 5. So I realized what my problem was, is I was making it all too small. The shrink tube, everything was so small that it really couldn't. There wasn't enough area for the fibers to really get attached to inside the shrink tube. And also, I was kind of cleaning up, and I found an old bottle of the clear parts adhesive and window maker, which is exactly the same thing as what I was using from testers, both from testers, and the one I had found had separated, and it made me realize that the one that I was using for this and I was having really bad results with, I never really shook it up. So it probably was separated as well. I just didn't notice it because I was jostling as I picked it up and whatnot. And I also used Elmer's too. When I let it set longer, I put 2 layers of shrink tube, one small enough on the LED, another on the outside to act as a jacket with more adhesive in there, and then actually put a little bit of masking tape just as a last ditch measure. I'm letting it dry for quite some time. It's still drying, and I've coated the bottom side right here with just black acrylic craft paint, and then the shrink tube itself, because the shrink tube is white. And remember, this is the strobe one, the flashing one, so that it doesn't interfere with anything else. And the reason I'm using the acrylic paint versus spray paint or whatever, it's thicker. It gives me a little bit of a thicker base. That way I don't have to keep reapplying or rechecking the light blocking. And the tulip's a little too thick. There's not a whole lot of room in here. Oh, and an interesting, I didn't have a whole lot of room. I really didn't want to solder a bunch of stuff, but I did solder all the little wires together with. I used my absolute best soldering technique, and I'm not a very good solderer. And then what I used to insulate it was actually just black spray paint. It sounds a little weird, and I was a little hesitant on it, but it's something I think that would really be thin enough. And it seemed to work. And I'm gonna, now that it's all in there and I've already tested it all fits, I'm gonna put something on top of that, either some tulip. I have some liquid electrical tape, something in there to go on top, maybe even some hot glue. But I want something that stays thin and liquidy and doesn't take up a lot of room. But and the other thing that's gonna make this work is, you see how long these threads are, right? So when this gets, this will be pushed down like this, kind of shift forward and go right down on that. Then I'll thread these through. They don't have to worry about like fishing a loose, something that's really tight and small, not a lot of slack. This way I'm going to run it all the way through, like right here, run it all the way through, right there, out these, and they'll be, 4 or 5 inches slack. I'm not going to cut it to size until after it's already been put in there, because what happens is it puts pressure on this end right here, and on this, and the whole thing seems just comes apart. And that's where I was having issues last time. So by doing it like this and letting the fibers just stick out, be crazy long for the application, that should make them stay in place better. And I've had a lot more luck. It's been a lot easier. I haven't done my final test. I've already fitted it with just the lights, and then I fitted it with this to make sure it would actually close properly. The only issue I had was this light right here was too close, and it was interfering with the side, and actually just detached it. I attached all these with super glue, detached it, so now that's a floating LED. It's not fixed in there. And the other thing is, this one right here, it's not lighting up the navigational deflector as well as it should. So what I think I'm going to do, and I don't want to mess with this too much because this is like my 3rd or 4th attempt doing it, but I want to detach it from there and attach it to here and position it so it shines just right, because if it's too faint, you're just not even going to notice all that work for nothing. And if I put, and I know there's overspray in there, so it's already dulled down slightly, but when I put clear blue on there, you're not going to be able to see anything if it's as dull as it is, and that's a pretty decent LED. So that's the only other modification. One final thing is, I have the intake and the flux chiller grills, whatever it is on the Defiant in the back. I have it on this side, but this side I'm actually missing. I put it in a cup to keep it so I wouldn't lose it, and of course I lost it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, whether I just want to go out and buy another one of these Defiants, which, wouldn't be a big deal. It's not that expensive. It was, I think, $7.99 plus shipping, but then I have to wait for it. The only other option is to pop these out and cut something that goes to that shape. It's so small, it's going to be at such a distance, you're not going to notice it if it's not quite exact. But at the same time, I'm putting so much work and effort in each one of these battle damaged 12500 lit models that I like for them to be impressive on their own right. If they're ever displayed separately, or if they're ever looked up that closely, I don't want it to, oh wow, that actually isn't very good. You know, I want to make sure that it's decent enough that it looks good in its own right. So there's that, and that's got to be set aside to dry. And the only other thing is, these are the Don's Light and Magic Enterprise C clear nacelles. They come like this. Oops, they come like this. This camera's so damn close, it's so zoomed in, I can't. But they come like this in two parts, which is different than the D. The D comes in one part, plus the Bizarre for both. The D is really hard to use, you gotta kind of hog it out. But with the C, what it is, I took this and I hogged it out. I used a cutting wheel in conjunction with whatever that's called. And it's actually, for this, it was a really good diameter. I could use it to smooth it out. I went back and forth. My original idea was just to make a cavity for lights, but as I experimented, I realized by using this, and this let me smooth it out, almost kind of like polishing it. Not quite a polish, but kind of a polish. It helps distribute the light. You have more room, and it's much more like a clear part rather than something I've hogged out. And originally I was just going to spray black paint on there and the inside the light block, and then silver, and then just rub away roughly where the flux chiller grills are, just real roughly. But I noticed that because of how clear I had made this, how much I polished, and how thin I made it, which is much thinner than I thought I was going to do, you could see like you can see like a little tiny bit right there, and that's on the inside. You can still see that. So I scraped off what I had painted, and then I put just Tamiya, I think 1/16, or not 1/16, 1/8 or 1/4, I can't remember. It's probably 1/4 inch masking tape on the inside. Did a rough cut to shape right there. Reapplied the black and light coating, rattle can, light coating, 2 light coatings. I inverted it like this to dry, not like this, because it would seep under the tape. I put it like this, actually on top of a box fan, so it would dry really quick. And this particular spray paint I used dries really quick. And then I put chrome on the back, which maybe I don't need. The only issue I was having was a lot of hot spots, and I still might tint. In fact, I think I might have to tint the lights before they go in there a blue, so that they work a little bit better. But I've already tested it. It works really good. This is the way to go. With the Enterprise C from Don Lights Magic, real easy. The Enterprise D I'm still working on. They're kind of a pain. You have to kind of figure out what way to go with these. And I haven't seen any tutorials on how to do these. And that's it for now. Thanks.